Hello everyone, I'm Gio. I hope everyone's having the best blessed day possible today. Today's Tuesday, June 11th. Please hit the subscribe button and please like, comment, and share all those good things. Anything you can do to show me support. So for today, today I had kind of a rough day actually. I had some like really unfortunate news. I'll call it unfortunate. That'll be the word I'll use to describe it. So let me preface this by showing you guys. Okay, so starting on June 6, 2023, I started doing what is called a 369 manifesting journal. I talked about this a little bit. So basically in this journal here, if you notice that I write over and over and over again, just the same thing over and over and over again, like so many times. So for my my manifestation, what I've been trying to manifest is my manifestation is an inspiring, successful addict in recovery, walking with God towards a happy reunion with his daughters. Okay, so if we start at the beginning, an inspiring, which I kind of believe I am, I have kind of inspired. I get told that quite often, that I am inspiring and that I've been an inspiration to a number of people now, as far as like the people that are suffering from addiction. And I helped one girl get into rehab, and I offer advice to a lot of people. And, there's a number of people that do come to me. So the inspiring part, I kind of feel like I have a little bit. There's obviously a lot of work that can be done and I can go a lot further with it, but I do feel like I kind of am a little bit inspiring at this point in time. So successful. My last date of last use was April 7th, 2023. So, as far as being a successful addict, I'd say I am. If you look around, I have a nice apartment now. I've had a regular job for, quite a while now. And, I'm doing a lot of things where, I consider myself successful at this point, from considering where I was at, having absolutely nothing and coming to the point that I'm at now. So I do believe that I am a successful addict in recovery. So I am in recovery. Like I said, April 7th, 2023 was my date of last use. So I'm definitely in recovery, doing everything I can possibly do to be successful in that. Walking with God, I haven't missed a church service since the beginning of last year. I partake in as many activities as I can at the church. I get asked to help out with a lot of things now. I'm a big part of our upcoming VBS event. I held a camera at service now. I participate in a weekly prayer group. I participate in a weekly Bible study, so I'm doing everything I can in order to accept God into my life and to have God be a part of who I am now. I wear a Jesus shirt, wear a cross on my hat. I do everything I can to be as much about that as I can be. You know what I mean? I try in every aspect of my life to be as godly as possible, as far as how I speak to everybody, as far as the words that I use, as far as like participating in gossip, as far as lying, as far as cheating, as far as everything I do, I try to do it with keeping God in mind and what would God do, and trying to be the very best that I can be about that, right? And now the last part of it, towards a happy reunion with his daughters. So as I've spoke about, my daughter's wedding is coming up. This was the reason that spurred my change. When I found out that she was engaged and going to get married, that was what, when she told me that, I told her I was going to go to rehab, and I made it there 3 months later. And since then, I've been trying to work as hard as I can in order to be successful so I could be comfortable, and everything to be at her wedding. That's what I was working towards. But there was, another huge factor in that is that my youngest daughter, who it would also be there, and I haven't seen her since she was 7, and she is now 16, or gonna be 16, 2007. So it's going to be 16. I believe she's 16. Yes, she's 16 now. So November 24th, 2007. So, but the thing is that in 2017, I hadn't seen my daughter in going on like 2 years at that point in time. It was almost close to 2 years in 2017. Basically in 2015, I lost everything I owned. I went to jail, and upon doing that, my landlord threw out everything that I owned in the time that I was there. I was there for 4 months, and when I got out, I had no possessions. I had nothing when I got out after that, and I was completely lost. And basically, I just turned over to like hardcore addiction at that point, and I kind of just gave up on life for quite a long time. And I really did not see any hope for myself. I didn't see myself coming back from it. I didn't know how to come back from it. I didn't know how to come back from losing everything. I didn't know how to operate like that in life. You know what I mean? I didn't know how to not have anything, up to that point. I'd always lived my life in where I took care of like other people, you know what I mean? And I always gave to everyone and I tried to provide for everyone always. And it was a very weird, hard situation for me to be in. And I was just completely lost. Like, I just said there's so many instances I can speak of, but one instance, when I got out of jail that time, I started doing duster really bad because I could not be in my head. I couldn't sleep. I was in such a bad way. Like I cannot even describe to you what a bad way. And I don't wish that on my worst enemy. I mean, I don't wish anything on my worst enemy, but I would not wish that on anyone the way that I felt, through that experience. Like I could not sleep without taking 20 Tylenol PM. That was the only way like I could fall asleep. And if I did not have like something in my system to not have me be there, I was so uncomfortable. Like I cannot even describe to you the feeling. So like when I say that I did duster, I did duster for like a month straight where, all I would do is go to a store. I would steal cans of duster, and by the time I walk out the door, I'm like hitting this can of duster because I just did not want to be in my head so bad. And it was such a scary thing. And all I would do was take a hit and I would pass out from it, like no matter where I was. Like I'd be standing right out the store, passed out on the ground, you know what I mean? And this is how I operated for a while because I just did not want to be anywhere, and I didn't care at all. And I didn't know what to do, I didn't know how to get my life back in order. I was just completely lost, like utterly and completely lost. And I felt like I had nothing to offer anyone at that point in time. So it was like early in 2017, and I ended up at a lawyer's office. It was Manley, lawyer. The lawyer's last name was Manley, and I ended up at his office. I was actually trying to sell him something, I remember, and he presented me with papers for me to sign over rights of my youngest daughter. So, at first my complete reaction was absolutely not, I would never do that. I love her completely. And I just, even though she's not in my life right now, I have nothing to offer her, you know what I mean? But I still want to have her in my life, you know what I mean? And hopefully someday I would be okay enough to have that. But, and then he just kept pressing me, telling me that, well, it's been over a year, so, the court's going to accept it anyway, so you might as well just do this, and and he just kept on going on and on about it. And the more and more I thought about it and everything was just, I kind of thought it was the best thing. It was going to be the best thing for her. You know what I mean? Because at this point in time in my life, I have nothing. I mean, I have absolutely nothing. I don't even have a place to live. I am staying wherever I can possibly stay every day. You know what I mean? And it just was a really low time in my life. You know what I mean? There really was not a lot going on, and I was like in danger of going back to jail at any point in time, which I did shortly after that. Once again, I went to jail for 7.5 months right after that. And so it was just a really like crazy bad time in my life. And, it's one of the moments that I'll most regret going forward. Like, I can never, ever take that back. You know what I mean? That I did that. At the time that I did it, though, like, I did it with the thought that I was never going to have anything to offer her again. And it would be the best thing for her. And that she's better off without me. You know what I mean? I remember having that thought. She's better off without me because there was no hope for me. That's what I felt like at that moment. There was absolutely no hope for me. And it's such a crazy feeling to have, you know what I mean? And now I can't ever take that back. You know what I mean? But at the same time now, now that I am walking with God, now that I am successful, over a year clean and everything, there's nothing I would want more than to have her in my life. You know what I mean? And I think about her every day. I think about all the time that we had when she was little, and I think about how when I went to jail for the first time and she first had to be without me, how she had to go for counseling because she couldn't handle not having me because she was such a daddy's girl. and everything. And she didn't know what, she didn't understand, because all of a sudden I'm not in her life. She's 7 years old, and all of a sudden I'm not in her life anymore. And she had to go for counseling. And I was told, like, her mom told me that she wasn't the same happy child anymore. And, it broke my heart, but I just, at the same time, I couldn't fix myself. You know what I mean? I was lost. I didn't know how to fix myself. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to get out of the situation. And I kept going worse and worse and worse. You know what I mean? Everything just kept getting worse and worse, and then I just gave up completely, basically, for quite a long time. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't even care I'm homeless. I didn't care. Like, there was no thoughts of, okay, trying to put my life back together. It was just a thought of kind of surviving each day. And it's not a good feeling at all. Really, really is not a good feeling at all. And so that all being said, now, I've been, that's what spurred me going to rehab. That's what spurred everything. All this big changes in me and everything was all based on the fact that I wanted for my daughter to be proud of me enough that I could go to her wedding and her be proud that I'm there, so, but today, it was said to me basically that, my youngest daughter is going to be there, and she's going to be a bridesmaid there, and it would be very uncomfortable for her, for her to have me there, and it wouldn't be the time or place for that to happen. You know what I mean? Like it's, and this has obviously been a thought on my mind, like somehow or another, like I was just hoping some way that this would just happen, and I would go there and she would be happy to see me, and now it would just be a big reunion, happy reunion, but I recognize the fact that, like, it's a very hard thing to want to happen. It's a very hard thing to put on my youngest daughter, and it's a very hard thing to put on my oldest daughter, to try to make that be a part of her day. You know what I mean? It's going to be her wedding, her day, whereas, I have dreams of walking her down the aisle and having her first dance with her and doing all these things with her and everything, but it would just be such an uncomfortable thing for me to be there, and I understand that, so it was just kind of said, what I mean, that it's better that I shouldn't go, to the wedding. So, and it's a hard pill to swallow, what I mean? It's a very, very hard pill to swallow, I'm not going to lie. And, so, you have the thought, like, this is everything I just worked for, what I mean? It was all based on the fact of wanting to be there for her wedding. So now that's taken away from me, you know what I mean? So where do you kind of go from there? But at the same time, I feel stronger than I've ever felt. I feel better than I've ever felt, aside from this happening, but I love the person that I've become, you know what I mean? So, and I'm not becoming this person necessarily if it wasn't for the thoughts of me doing this for her wedding, you know what I mean? So finding this out now, at this point in time, it was probably good because I'm strong enough that I can handle it now, and it's not going to cause any sort of, relapse or any sort of like fallback or anything like that. Like, I'm still going to be this person that I've become because I do love this person, and I love the way I feel. I love that I have a purpose. I love that, my purpose, aside from getting ready for her wedding, is to try to help other addicts in order to, one, find God, in order for two, to realize that, that there's a better way for their life. You know what I mean? For me, I did it by finding God, that's what saved me, and that's what helped me get to this point. You know what I mean? That he brought me, all this different security and all these different things that brought me, by having him in my life and by having my relationship that I now have with him. So that all being said, so I'm not going to go to the wedding, and it's tough, what I mean, as tough as it is, you know what I mean, but I understand it, and I'm going to be as supportive as I can of her, try to help out in every way possible, and just understand that, number one, I did it to myself, what I mean, I did this to myself. I'm the one that signed that paper signing of rights of her. I'm the one that became an addict. I'm the one that gave my life to addiction, what I mean, I gave up on my children and let them go for the time that I let them go, what I mean, and I need to accept that, and recognize that and everything. And this day, it's not about me at all. I mean, this is the day about my daughter and stuff. And as much as, like, I'd love to be there for her and I'd love to be part of it and everything, I understand that it's easier if I'm not, you know what I mean? So I definitely understand that. And it's awesome that I'm strong enough that I can handle this. You know what I mean? That this was not going to cause me to fall back. This is not going to cause me to, go backwards at all, you know, in my life. I will still stay this course. I will still stay as strong as I've become, and I will still work on myself and try to be the best version of myself each and every day so that I can move forward in my life and I can have a good, you know, successful life going forward. And hopefully I can inspire people. Hopefully I can do exactly what I said, and that, you know, just that the whole happy reunion with my daughter part got pushed back a bit, but hopefully that will come at some point in time. So I just wanted to share that all with you guys, you know, where I was at, and just, you know, let you know that, like, even through like all these hardships and, you know, different things that happen, you know, like this was a big blow for me to take today, you know what I mean? But I still remain strong, you know what I mean? I still don't want to use a drug. I don't want to, you know what I mean? There's not even that thought, you know what I mean? That thought doesn't even creep in my brain for a second that I want to do something like that, you know what I mean? There's a little bit of a pit in my stomach, and, you know, there's other, you know, probably unresolved feelings at this moment, but the thought of like doing a drug is still the furthest thing from my mind, you know what I mean? So, and that's an amazing feeling, I guess. And not I guess, but that is an amazing feeling, and it does feel good to be able to say that, and it feels good that I can share this and feel like that I will come out of this stronger somehow, you know, and it'll still be, you know, a good thing, you know what I mean? And hopefully my daughter has, you know, the best day of her life and everything, and, you know, and hopefully that's the whole reunion part. We'll have to just wait, you know what I mean? Because it is in God's timing. Everything does happen for a reason. You know, I don't exactly know what the reason is necessarily for this yet, but I mean, it might just be the fact that it just wasn't the time, and, you know, there's going to be a better time for it to happen. So I understand that, and, you know, I recognize everything for what it is, you know what I mean? But it was basically the hardest decision that I made, you know what I mean, going forward, my most regrettable decision that I ever made going forward. And, you know, but I take solace in the fact that my daughter was raised really, really well. You know what I mean? Both my daughters were raised really, really well. And they both, you know, seem to be happy, and they both seem to be, you know, doing well, successful and everything, you know, without me. And, you know what I mean? Like I take some solace in the fact that, you know, I was there when they were younger, and I believe that I was very, you know, good influence when they were younger and raising them and everything. But, you know, it is tough that all this time that I've missed, and it's tough that like I can never get that back, and it is a tough thing, you know what I mean? But that's what comes with being an addict, and that's what comes with everything, you know? So if only I'd done this, you know, a few years back, you know what I mean, then I would have had more time to prepare for this and everything. But no, it took me till 2000, you know, April 7th, 2023 to get clean, you know what I mean? That's the date of last use. That's what it's my clean date. So, you know what I mean? So that's on me that it took me that long, you know what I mean? But if, you know, so if anything, I just wish I would have done it sooner, you know what I mean? I'm still glad that I did everything the way that I did. I'm still glad that I'm the person that I am now. I just wish I could have done it sooner, you know, obviously. So, but to anyone out there who's struggling, anyone who's still suffering from addiction and everything, like, you know, you're wasting time. You know what I mean? That's all it is going to be wasted time. I promise you. All the time I spent in addiction, aside from the fact of the experiences that I got, that now maybe I can help other people. That's what I got out of it. But at the same time, like, it's all wasted time. A wasted time away from people that matter, a wasted time away from, you know, being a contributing member of society, someone you can be proud of, something that you can take, you know, in the end of days, you know, when you're on your deathbed or whatever, something that you can be proud of. So, well, I love you all. I thank you all. God bless you. Have a blessed day. I love you all. Remember, it's nice to be important, but it's way more important to be nice. Thank you. God bless.